If you have never done any creating of stuff using concrete before and you're wondering about the viability, is this even like a thing that you can do? You can definitely do a lot of creative stuff with concrete as your medium, like sculpture medium. But in this video, I want to teach you three things. Three things that are standing between a person like you that I just described and somebody who can make anything they want out of concrete. There's really only three things. The first one is you need technique. There's technique involved in this. It's not just like doing it different every time. It's a lot like baking, right? There's ingredients that we're going to have to use mixed together. There's a timeline we need to follow. We do a thing, we get predictable results. This is the nature of working with, baking or concrete. So the technique part, that's something I want you to learn from this YouTube channel, Creating Concrete with Steve. I'm Steve. I want to teach you about working with concrete as a hobby at the enthusiast level, show you some of the cool stuff you can do with concrete and concrete working and concrete as a sculpture medium, and just kind of set you off on your own and teach you how to do this stuff so that you can do it for yourself and expand on some of the basic ideas that I'm giving you, but maybe fast track you a little bit in the process. Like, I worked with concrete professionally, plus I also dabbled with concrete as a hobby for 20 plus years. And if I just consolidate that information into, or distill that information into, some form of YouTube series or a series of videos, you can learn a lot about this process and this hobby in way shorter of a time than I learned it just exclusively through trial and error. And I think that that would be a great idea if you're looking to work with concrete as a hobby. You think that there might be advantages to working with concrete, or if you don't, but you understand now when I tell you that concrete is the most widely used construction material on the planet. We don't use anything more than we use concrete when it comes to construction. And that's versatile. Like, having a working knowledge of that in particular is useful in a lot of different ways. I've made a ton of different videos about that subject already. But for now, I just want you to know that the techniques thing is something you're going to need to know. You're going to need to learn technical process to be able to do whatever it is you want to do with concrete. But I can help get you there fast by watching this YouTube channel, so like and subscribe. So let's talk about the second thing that's stopping you from being able to do whatever you want, making cool stuff out of concrete. And that would be finding the materials available to you. Like, some of this stuff is readily available from whatever big box hardware store is closest to you. Go and pick up a bag of cement, a bag of sand, get mixing. Or you can even buy the pre-blended stuff like concrete and mortar. You can buy a trowel. There's stuff like that. But if you want to get into the specialty stuff, the fancy admixtures, colorations, and things like this, you need to find a better supplier than a big box hardware store. And unless you live in a major city center, and even if you do, it can be hard to find. There's not a lot of them for sure, but somebody's supplying the specialty masons in your area with these products and admixtures that they need. Things like white Portland cement, or various admixtures for changing the properties of the concrete or the mortar that they're mixing. Somebody's supplying these things, and if it's not in your town, maybe the town over, or the closest major city center, but there are specialty concrete supply stores, and you're going to have to seek and find them out. And further to that, once you do, probably they don't sell to the general public. A lot of them don't sell to the general public. You could go in with your hat in your hand and be like, I'm the general public, but I'd like a bag of cement if I could, please. Somebody takes pity on you and sells you one, great. A lot of times they don't. They're just not interested in helping you one bit, and see you later. And they deal with like cement by the skids, not cement by the bag, or maybe they just deal exclusively with contractors. If that happens, maybe here's just like one last thing you could try to say. You could try to say like, oh, I'm a contractor. I'm just out of town right now. traveling, working at my mother's house. And, normally I would pay not retail pricing for my materials, but I'm out of town right now shopping at your store. Any chance you have a jobber account or just an out of town account that I can use for a cash sale? And all of these keywords might be the right thing for them to go, sure, whatever. Like, they don't really care. They're just gonna, it's just a jobber account is just a cash sale account for over the counter sales for tradesmen working out of town, things like that. Or, sometimes they'll cut deals and they use this jobber account for paying for those through the tracking system. If you ask for it and you're nice, maybe they'll let you use it. But you have to be able to find these materials like white cement, specialty admixtures. There's just so many things. Like, what if you want to make really strong concrete? Well, okay, you're going to need densified silica fume. Call around. Try to find densified silica fume. So it's stuff like this. This is one random example. And then fly ash and color hardeners and water reducers and super plasticizers, and they're coming from somewhere. If you find the right supplier, they're not expensive necessarily. They're just hard to find, and normally they only sell them in larger quantities than you probably want or can use them at the benchtop enthusiast level. Still, once you find where they're being sold, the doors are open now. If you have the technical process and you find the place that's selling the stuff that you need, now there's a lot of stuff that you can potentially be making. But wait, there's a third thing. So the third thing that you're going to need is you're going to need practice. Like, I can help expedite your journey learning about working with concrete as a hobby by teaching you what I've learned over a long period of time. But you're still going to have to experiment doing this. You are going to have to practice. You're going to have failures. You're going to have successes, but you're going to learn along the way. And I do not think that there's any shortcut for that. I can point you towards the right direction, but ultimately, practice is something that you're going to have to do. You're going to have to learn how to hold a trowel, how it feels, it's not just the knowledge, make the concrete flat with the trowel. Right, got you. Why isn't this working? What's wrong with my trowel? Is there something wrong with my trowel? Like, probably not something wrong with your trowel. The thing is that it's harder than it looks. It looks really easy in skilled hands. I learned that really, really quickly working with a concrete crew and watching what they're doing. I'd never done a shotcrete before, and we were doing a big shotcrete, and I'm watching what the guys are doing, and I'm eager. I'm like, come on, let me in there. Let me do this. I can do this. And I could not do this. They were, for sure, they were rough floating an 8-inch thick concrete floor. So they're standing on rebar, a grid of rebar, 10 millimeter rebar. So it's kind of hard already. And you're like slipping in between and you're getting hung up and stuck and whatever. And it's hard to do because you're walking through wet mud, walking backwards. Somebody's screeding it. You're trying to trowel it, but you have to not like dig in. It has to be flat. It sounds so simple. In skilled hands, it looks like easy work. It is not easy work. It takes a lot of practice. Practice. It's the only way you're going to get skilled working with concrete, regardless of what you're talking about, like doing a shotcrete swimming pool, as I'm talking about, or building countertop statuary or things for your backyard or any other thing. You're going to have to practice with it. I can help fast track it if you like and subscribe to this YouTube channel, but practice is the third thing that you're going to need. You're going to need to know the technical process. You're going to need to find the materials because a lot of them are pretty hard to find. And then you're going to need to practice. Means you need an area to do it. When you're just getting started, you can work with smaller areas. I certainly did. A lot of people can work with small areas. I certainly did. When I first started, I was working with, just an overhang, essentially just working outside. It was open to the elements, no temperature control, the rain getting on everything. It's not ideal, but you can work with a lot of difficult situations. Even just put down a tarp on an area, protect the area with the tarp, build what you're working on, and then clean up at the end of the day. And then hope for one day that maybe you can graduate to working in a garage or shop environment where you can build bigger and better things It took me a long time to get there, might take you some time to get there as well. So that's it. Technical process, locate the materials, and practice. And if you like and subscribe, hopefully you'll learn a lot more about how to work with concrete. I'll see you soon.